People are the key to success. There's the famous quote that everybody knows that says, network is your net worth. It is not through people that you will get direct results. People can't run a business for you unless you have employees. But through people, you will be able to supplement your success to get outsized returns and better results on the work that you've put in. You as an individual have to put in the inputs. You have to work on the business. You have to work towards something. But the difference between the returns that somebody gets is who he knows in the industry. I'll give you a very easy example to understand. If somebody went to a networking event and met a bunch of CEOs of companies and became friends with them, he has access to people that have skills that are way beyond your own reach. So the person that's trying to build a successful business and putting in a lot of inputs can do good, but if you compare him against the person who has five of his best friends who are CEOs always helping him, he's going to get outsized returns. And the only reason that he's getting such good results to begin with is because of the people he knows. This is something I hear all the time of people talking about the fact that, there's nepotism in the workplace. For those of you guys that don't know, that just means you know somebody who works there. Maybe you have a family, a friend, somebody in the company that you can reach out to and say, hey, listen, I was looking at this company. Can you get me a way in? He talks to the boss for you, etc. Right? That's nepotism at a very simple level. But people don't try to get these networks themselves. For those of you guys that don't know, this is my show, Abundant Thinking. I have done 118 episodes of everything mindset. I've been able to speak to some incredible people, and through being able to speak to them, I've been able to have access to a network that is pretty cool, right? I've never had access to extremely successful people in my life, so I knew that I had to be the person to go out there and get that network myself. I didn't want to complain and say, "Oh my God, Robbie is so lucky because, he only got that job because his dad works there." Well, that's how life works, all right? And if you're not going to go out and do the thing and find those people yourself, it's going to be very tough for you to get extremely good returns. I've been lucky because I've put myself in a position with this podcast where I'm able to have an excuse to interview people and have a good relationship with them, right? But that was always the goal for me. It's not like I stumbled upon this pile of gold and, I just everything got handed to me. I've worked for every single person I've had on this show. I always nurture my relationships with them, but it's so interesting how it works. Just this idea that, I've talked to a best-selling author, and in the future, if I ever do write a book, that'll be somebody I'll reach out to. It's just good to have that in the back of your mind. It's good to have that person, have that access. If you're young like me, use that to your advantage. You have so many things you can do where you can tell people, hey, listen, I don't know what I'm doing, but it would be amazing if you can maybe help me with this thing. Hey, I'm not sure how to write this book yet. I'm trying to be a journalist. I'm trying to do XYZ, but I don't know where to start. You think you can point me in the right direction? It's all about volume. If you can reach out to 100 people, if you can reach out to 1,000 people, somebody's going to say yes, and you have increased your network. You've increased a person that's there for you that can help you. And also, if they see that you're truly doing things in the best intentions and you're trying your best and you're actually a really cool person, they're going to want to help you. A lot of people have this notion that, oh, people that are successful are extremely closed off, and they're in this upper echelon of people, and they don't want to help. They have all the money, they're greedy, they're rich. But I totally disagree with that, and I base that off of my personal experiences myself with this podcast. I've had top entrepreneurs. I mean, I had Gary Ridge on the show, who is the former CEO of WD-40. He is responsible for a majority of their success, and he was one of the nicest people I've ever spoken to. He wanted to help me. It's very interesting how misperceived the world of successful people are, because people have this notion that everything was handed to them. And I think the ones that work the hardest are the ones that are most willing to help. So I was going home. I go to university about 2.5 hours away from where I live in Chicago, but I was going home and I saw this guy in a really nice suit. All right, I was at the train station. So I went up to this guy, and this is something I do all the time. I'll just compliment people just because, out of the kindness of my heart, I think it's nice to make people's day and, maybe strike up a conversation. I complimented this guy's suit. He was like, okay, wow. Thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate it. And then I didn't think much of it. We weren't really talking. And then he asked me, he was like, yeah, are you a student here? I was like, yeah, I'm a student. I'm studying X. I'm doing this. So we started just having a little conversation. And I told him, he had this really nice briefcase. He had this, you know, amazing all blue suit. It was very cool. And I asked him, I was like, yeah, if you don't mind me asking, what do you do for a living? Like, what do you do? And he told me that he's a director and producer for movies, and that his recent movie just got bought by Apple and Amazon, which is crazy. So I was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing! Like that's so cool." So I started asking him questions, and I was genuinely curious. I say people are the key, but it can't be in a transactional kind of way, right? It's got to be you have to have a nice relationship with them. It's not like I was asking them, "Oh, okay, well, if I ever make a movie, can you help me with it?" Because you don't have that relationship with them yet. However, I was talking to him. I was genuinely curious. That's one of the things I try to do a lot of is talk to a bunch of different people. And the train came, and I told him, I was like, hey, if you don't mind, like, come sit next to me, right? We have a 2.5 hour train ride. I didn't say that, but it might as well. It's better than me just listening to music. So he's like, yeah, okay, sounds good. So we sat on the aisles next to each other, and we talked the entire 2.5 hours, and it flew by like nothing, right? It was like this. He invited me to this Halloween party in a penthouse in Chicago. He said, a lot of my friends are going to be there. You should meet them. Very cool people, very successful people. You'd have a nice conversation with them. Earlier that day, I was waiting for a train. Just it was a normal day, and then by the end, I was invited to this event of people that are very successful. Luck plays a huge role in that. However, it's not like that was my first time. You get lucky by trying things a bunch of different times and then eventually it works. People think luck is okay, I just found $100 bill on the ground, boom, that's it, doesn't matter. But what I've realized is you have to have this practice. So for me, the practice, quote unquote, is going up and complimenting people and just striking up a conversation. I've had a conversation with so many people, it's led nowhere. Maybe I've gotten some cool insight from them. They were very nice, they made my day, right? But it was never this huge outsized return like it was with this guy that I met who invited me to the penthouse. It's never been like that. So this is the first time in my life. I've been probably doing this for 5 years, genuinely. This is the first time that it has worked out like this. But the good thing about it is that's not my goal. Going into it, it's not like, okay, I hope I can get something out of him. It's okay, I just want to have a conversation. I want to compliment him, etc. So the fact that this happened is crazy. It's very lucky. But the thing is, I've been doing this thing for 5 years, going up to people. So is it luck or is it the fact that eventually somebody is going to be in a position of success and see an opportunity on me? People want to have conversations with others, but nobody seems to talk nowadays. So I took it upon myself to be that person. And I've started to realize if people don't appreciate it, that's fine. It's not my fault. It's not a fault of my character. It's more maybe they're not open to it. Maybe they're more closed off. That's okay. But I used to get very in my head like, oh, this person probably thinks I'm so stupid, etc. I don't really do that anymore because I think when I've started to approach things with the best intentions, it's kind of like, oh man, I hope he's having a good day. I hope he's okay. Instead of like, oh man, why was he such a douchebag? I was just trying to be nice to him. I was like, you know what? Maybe it just wasn't a good day for him, and it is what it is. Through this podcast, I've been able to meet some cool people, right? However, this repeated habit of speaking to people, nurturing my relationship, just talking to strangers in general, which sounds kind of crazy, right? Just talking to strangers, but just talking to people, being nice, being open, has allowed me to create even more opportunities with the people I surround myself with. It's been really hard for me because in high school and college as well, I've wanted to be surrounded by people that I've been very like-minded with, and it's been tough to find those people. However, it's starting to seem like over time, right? In the micro, it's very hard. I have to have those awkward conversations where people are like, "Oh, you read that book? Okay, whatever. Like he's kind of weird. Cool, yeah. Just do your own thing, right?" But I've started to notice there's one guy here and another guy here that I can have a good conversation with, and my circle's getting a little bit bigger with people I can trust. I think a big part of this is also being the person that I am and not hiding it because I think people are also scared to show their true selves. So when I open up about myself, open up about what I'm going through, struggles, successions, all of these things, people relate to it a little bit more and they feel like sharing. So something that I've been trying to do, I know I'm getting a little bit off topic here, but something I've been trying to do with other people is being the first person to share. Be like, yeah, hey, I really like I have a podcast. And before, people would be like, "Oh, he's got a podcast, kind of weird. How old are you? Like, what are you doing?" And true story, by the way, people have said that before. And the big thing is, I used to be very insecure about that, and it's like, oh, I got a podcast, but now I'm starting to open up about it more and try to tell more people. And I've noticed that like one every 20 people will be like, "Dude, you have a podcast? That's so cool. Tell me about it." Or like, "Yeah, I want to listen to it. That's awesome, right?" And it's probably even it's less than 1 in 20. A lot of times we get in our own head and think like, okay, everybody hates us, everybody thinks I'm stupid, but that's not the reality of it. If we're being honest, people do think that me having a podcast is cool, and I can pretend like everybody's against me, but that's not the case because I've had some really cool people who've supported me. I have had people who haven't supported me, but those people I don't really seem to think about too much because they fade into irrelevancy. I think it's possible to bootstrap, and this is like a business term for those of you guys who don't know. Bootstrap is do the hard work, actually, put your bootstraps up and put all the hard work into something. So bootstrapping a company is like putting all the work into it. I think it's possible to bootstrap an amazing life where you're happy. I just I know, right, from personal experience, having a circle of people around you, whether it's friends, whether it's successful people, it makes it a little bit easier because you can shortcut some of the struggles you might be going through or some of the hard things you might be thinking about. Somebody that has already done the thing that you're trying to do knows the problems that come with it. So think about how beneficial it would be for you to be able to have a circle of people that's successful. It's very cool. Chances are, if you're listening to this, I think you are that type of person where you value something like that. So think about how you can put yourself into that situation. Think about how you can put yourself into that situation. I'm reading The Magic of Thinking Big right now. And one thing I wrote down, I have a whiteboard over here. You guys can't see it. Quote unquote, I wrote down, when you believe something is impossible, your mind goes to work for you to prove why. But when you truly believe something can be done, your mind goes to work for you and helps you find ways to do it. I want you to think about how you can get a better circle of people around you, how you can get access to successful people. Reach out to them on email, reach out to them on LinkedIn. It is possible if that is your standard of thinking. If you're always thinking, okay, how can I get this person? Instead of why don't any successful people want to speak with me? Start thinking, how can I get successful people to want to start thinking with me? What do you have to offer? It doesn't have to be money. I do all my podcasts for free. I've had guests try to charge me for getting me on the show, and I don't do that, right? I mean, I'm not even in a position to do that. I'm in college, guys. I'm completely broke, but there are ways to do it, and successful people are a lot more accessible than you guys think. Now, it doesn't mean one successful person in general, but I'm saying if you give me a pool of 100 of them, you might get people that are interested in speaking with you, and you might even be surprised at how many would want to speak with you. We're talking about this more from like a circle perspective, but you know, having amazing people around you, despite whether they're successful or not, is extremely important. You're the sum of the five people you hang out with. So I think about that all the time, all the time. Whether that's something that's important to you as a listener or not is up to you. However, having good people, having friends is extremely important to, having a healthy being in general, right? Socially, you want to make sure you have friends because that's the thing that's going to push you out to do things. If you have good friends, you have good people around you, they'll hopefully push you to be a better version of yourself. And if you want to be a better version of yourself, that means asking those hard questions of, okay, if I want to be a better version of myself, I need to improve on XYZ, but understanding that at a certain point when you do the XYZ, maybe instead of working harder, it'd be better for you to work smarter with better people around you. Guys, people are the key to success. If you want to shortcut the results you get in your life, I suggest getting a better circle of people around you that will genuinely push you, that are genuinely there for you and want to see you improve. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you next Tuesday. If you want to check out my website I just made, elongelfand.com, you can check out my podcast you're listening to right now. My newsletter's on there, my community, everything's on there. So just information about me, elongelfand.com. It's going to be linked in the description. See you guys next Tuesday. Peace.